Hello students. When our class was going on, we have done with the chapter communication and another chapter we did, that is basics of management. Now, in our online session, we have covered up rationalisis and our people management. Okay, that means the human resource management portion. Now today another important topic I am going to cover, that is motivation. Very important topic here. This is motivation. This is coming under managerial competencies. Now, what is motivation? What is the meaning of the term motivation? Motivation means inspiring people or encouraging people to do their work in a more better way so that the organizational objective can be achieved and the employee can also be rewarded. Okay, so unless and until we get some reward from or recognition from our company's end, we will not be motivated. Okay, if you are working somewhere, we always need motivation. So this is a very important part of managerial competencies, motivation. So here I have written one definition only, okay, that given by Edwin B. Flippo, and there are many definitions of motivation given by different experts. Here, as per this, just now I said motivation means inspiring people or encouraging people so that they can be boosted up and they can do their work in a more better way, an organization objective can be achieved, and the employee can also get some benefit or some motivational force. So here motivation is the process of attempting to influence others to do their work through the possibility of getting a reward. Okay, so this is a definition given by Edwin Lee Flippo. Now, what are the characteristics or features of motivation? Motivation is the essence of human psychology and has some common features. Okay, so what are the common features of motivation? First one is mental process. Yes, this is a mental process, because if the company is having motivational force in the company, then the employee of that company will always be motivated. Their moral will be boosted up and they will try to do their work in a more better way. Okay, this is one sort of encouragement for the people. Okay, so definitely it's a mental process and it is boosting up the inner efficiency of the employee. Okay, so it is very much related with the psychology of, that means human psychology. Okay, so this is a mental process. Second characteristic or second features, this could be monetary in nature or non-monetary in nature. Monetary benefits such as high salary, wages, bonus, commission, cash benefits, different type of cash benefits in the form of allowances. Okay, so these are the monetary motivation part. Now come to non-monetary motivation. See, monetary and non-monetary both are very important. Few companies are not giving the direct monetary benefits to their employee. Instead of that, they are giving certain facility to their employee to boost up their motivational force. Okay, so what is that? So non-monetary benefit includes children education facility, car facility, medical facility, not only for the employee but also for sometimes they are providing it for the dependents of the employee. Okay, then club facility for entertainment, then telephone facility, then transport facility, car pickup and drop facility many companies are giving nowadays. Then congenial working environment. Definitely whenever you work somewhere, first and foremost thing we need is the mental peace or a good working environment. Unless and until your environment is good, you cannot survive in a company. Okay, so it is not a monetary motivational force. This is coming under non-monetary motivational force. Next, accomplishment of objective. Definitely motivation of the employee helps an organization for accomplishment of their desired goal. Okay, it also helps to an employee to fulfill their personal goal as well. Okay, next comes continuous process. See, only one time motivation is not good enough. it should be a continuous process. Okay, from organizational part to motivate the employee so that they can move for their action, which result in accomplishment of the organizational target as well as their individual target as well. That means there should be continuous motivation from the organization part to the employee. Next is what? Overall that means overall growth of the organization. Yes, motivation is a total effort, okay, which is made for all the levels of the management, because motivation is only not required for the lower level people, that is also required for middle level and also for the top level managerial people. That means this motivation is required for all levels of the management, so that each employee will be under this process, and as a result of that, the overall development of the organization is possible. Okay, so each and every employee must be under this umbrella of motivational force. Okay, so motivation is a very important thing to boost up the inner energy, or that means the enthusiasm of the employee, so that they can work with a zeal to achieve something. Okay, so this is motivation. Now there are like importance of motivation and all, so which is given in my notes. Please go through once it will be done. Okay, so these are the characteristics or features of motivation. Now next important part, theories of motivation. See, in yours there are many theories on motivation. Different experts have given their own theory on motivation. Now as per your syllabus, you have 4 different theories of motivation. First one is Maslow's needs priority theory, that means hierarchy of needs theory. This is called as Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, or it's called as Maslow's need priority model. Okay, next one is ERG theory of motivation. Next one is called as Frederick Harshberg motivation and hygiene theory, and Douglas McGregor's theory of motivation. Okay, so I will start one by one from Maslow's theory. Okay, let us first start. This Maslow's theory is more or less, if you just recall, you did it earlier, okay, in your second year level, I think. So Maslow's theory is what? Who is the propounder of this theory? This theory was propounded by Abraham H. Maslow. Okay, the need hierarchy theory was developed by a famous American psychologist. Okay, name is Abraham H. Maslow. According to his theory, he said that human wants are unlimited. Okay, according to him, when one want is being satisfied, another want or another desire takes its place. Okay, see here that the same thing is written. According to his theory, as soon as one of his need is satisfied, another appear in its place. Okay, that means one want or one desire of human being will be replaced by another once it is being fulfilled. Okay, this process is unended. Okay, this is unending process, but that means that this will never ending process, and this will end only with the death of a person. Okay, so it continues from birth to death. Okay, man continuously put forth effort to satisfy his needs. Okay, so what he has done, he has segregated the needs of human being into 5 categories on the basis of importance. This is called as the physiological need. First one is physiological need, then comes safety need, then comes social need, then comes esteem need, then comes self actualization need, and given a model like a pyramid. See, this is the pyramidical structure called as hierarchy of needs theory. See, first one, this is the self. Then start from the basic level. This is called as physiological need, then safety need, then comes social love or social need, then come esteem or ego need, and the last one is self actualization need. Now let me explain it with respect to a common human being, and also with respect to organization, with respect to employment. Okay, now first one, what is the physiological need. Okay, physiological need is the basic need of the human being. Okay, see, the necessity for survival, which is necessary for our survival, such need includes what? Food, drink, clothes, shelter, rent, sleep, etc. Okay, so that means the basic things. Okay, and just these things, the roti, kapda or makan. Okay, so these are called as the basic need of human being. Okay, food, water, shelter and clothing. Okay, without which we cannot survive, we cannot live. So these are called as the very basic needs for the common human being. Okay, these needs must be satisfied on a continuous basis. This is from the perspective of a common human being. Okay, these are the basic needs without which people cannot live. Okay, people cannot survive. From the job perspective, what is the basic need? Okay, the basic need is to get a job. When we are in the verge of completion of our study, the basic thing we need to get into a job. Okay, to get into a particular industry. Okay, now once we get a job, then the next level of need take its place. So this is from the job perspective. Okay, so these are written as from the perspective of a common human being, and from the job perspective, the basic need is to get a job. Now come to the second point. Second need is what? Safety need. Now according to Maslow, as he said that once one level of need is being satisfied, another level of needs take its place. So one physiological need of human being is satisfied, safety needs take its place. That means after securing physiological need, human being wants security and protection from physical danger, from natural calamity, and also economic security like accident, that means security from accident, from fire, from unemployment, and from disability. So these are coming under the safety need for common human being as well as from the respect of a job. Okay, so that means we now need a safe place to reside. Okay, we need a safety in our job field as well. Okay, we need to be safe ourselves from the threat of unemployment. Okay, so these are coming under the safety part. Now once we are safe, now the next level of need take its place, that is called as what? Social need. Social need is what? Human being is a social animal, you know this. After getting physiological and safety need, they want social need. That means they have social desire, like mixing with other. Okay, need for love and affection, need for a family life. Okay, belongingness. Then informal group in the organization, they want to be a part of the group in the organization as well. So this is with respect to a common man as well as with respect to a job. That means now people need a group of people with whom they can interact. Okay, they need a bonding in family, they need love and affection. Okay, that means as human being are social person, social animal, so we always, there is urge in the mind of people for all the social need. Okay, in organization also we need a group with whom we can interact. Okay, so who are called as our peers, our colleagues. Okay, so we need in this kind of environment in the workplace as well. Next comes what? Once the social need is being satisfied, next level of need takes its place, that is called as what? Esteem need. Esteem need is what? Esteem need is the need for respect, for confidence, for recognition, for competence, for knowledge, status and reputation. Okay, see all these needs, social needs, actually the esteem needs can be of two types. One is from the viewpoint of self-esteem part. Self-esteem comprises of self-respect, self-confidence, self-direction, knowledge, achievement and high evaluation of himself. The other is the respect from others, that is recognition from others, appreciation from others, maintaining prestige in the society, okay, maintaining a level in the society, getting praised, that means want to be praised, okay. So these are the esteem need. That means now we need a position so that people should know us and people should recognize us and people should obey us whatever we are telling to them, okay. That means we need a position in an organization, we need a position in the society, okay. We need reputation, we need recognition. So these are coming under esteem need. Now the last one is called as self-actualization need for continuous development and growth, okay. See, we human being always wants development and growth in our life, okay. Once we are retired from organization, then also we are in search of creating something new, okay. We also we need some development and growth in our life, okay. So this urge of self development and growth and creation of new things and ideas will not end unless and until a person dies, okay. So this self-actualization need is a need which do not end unless and until a person dies, okay. So these are the hierarchy of needs theory as given by Abraham H. Maslow. Now this particular theory is also not free from criticism, okay. Now I will discuss with you the criticism of Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. The critic says the needs of human being may change from one situation to another. For example, a person who is working in a factory which is situated in hilly area, because working in hilly area in winter season is very tough. So in order to work in the winter season in hilly area, they need a special allowance called as winter allowance, okay, which is not true for the people who are working on plain land. This particular winter allowance is not true for the people who are working in plain land, okay. Similarly, people who are working in cities, okay, that standard of living in city is bit high than the rural areas. So people who are working in cities, in order to maintain the standard of living in cities, they need a special allowance called as city allowance, which is not true for the people who are working in the rural areas. That means this need again depends from situation, that means from one job location to another job location, okay, and it varies from situation to situation, okay. Next, needs vary from person to person. Definitely needs of human being also depends on the mentality of human being, also depends on the perception of human being, okay. See, for example, an employee wants more salary to satisfy his needs, it may happen, and another may need praise and appreciation for his service. Definitely few person are happy with recognition, few people are happy with reward, and few people are happy with monetary benefits, okay. They need more of monetary benefit rather than any praise or any recognition, okay. So that means this is completely depends on human perception, this depends on likings of people, okay. So that means needs also varies from person to person. Next one, needs of human being may not follow this specific sequence or hierarchy as suggested by Maslow. That means this hierarchy of need is not always true for all the people of the world who are staying at different countries of the world. This sequence of hierarchy of needs is not always true, okay. Last one, there are no definite principle of human behavior that once a need is satisfied, that cannot give further satisfaction. Definitely, if we have in the mind the safety requirement, that means the safety need, at the same time we may have the physiological need, because physiological need is the basic need, without which people cannot survive. So this physiological need and safety need may work together in human mind. Okay, so we cannot say once a particular level of need has been satisfied, it cannot give further satisfaction. No, it can give further satisfaction. This is as per critics. Okay, now a person may get repeated satisfaction by fulfilling a particular need, say self-actualization. Just now I discussed self-actualization. Self-actualization is what? Self-development and growth, and I said that this urge of self-development and growth will not end unless and until a person dies. Okay, and this self-development and growth gives us satisfaction all the time, because there is always in the mind of people this urge of self-development and growth. For the innovation, we always want to create something new. Okay, so once we create something new, it always gives satisfaction in the mind of people. Okay, that means one particular need can give us satisfaction multiple times. Okay, so this is the criticism given by different critics on the hierarchy of needs theory as given by Abraham H. Maslow. So this question usually come in your examination. Critically discuss Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. So what you have to write? You have to write first the theory fully with the diagrammatic representation, then the criticism, as I have discussed in a very simple sentences. Okay. Next theory we will do now, ERG theory of motivation. See this ERG theory here, who is the propounder of this theory? Clayton Alderfer of Yale University had reworked on Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Okay, so what this person did, that means this researcher did, that Clayton Alderfer, he had done research on Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory and given a new theory called as ERNG. See, Alderfer argued that there are groups of core needs. Okay, those are existence, relatedness and growth. Hence the levels are E, R and G. See, ERG, E specified for existence, R for relatedness and G for growth. Okay, so what he has done, he has compressed the theory as given by Abraham Maslow and compressed this 5 level into 3 level and given the theory as in the name of ERNG, that is existence, relatedness and growth. The existence group is concerned with providing our basic material existence requirement. Just now we discussed basic material requirement means the urge for food, water, shelter and clothing. Okay, so these are the basic material requirement. Okay, so this existence group is concerned with providing our basic material existence requirement. They include the items that Maslow considered to be physiological and safety need. Okay, so what Alderfer did, he merged these two need, that is physiological and safety need, and given the name as existence group. Okay, this is existence group. Next, second group of need are those of relatedness. This relatedness is what? The desire we have for maintaining important interpersonal relationship. This interpersonal relationship may be in the society in which we are living. Okay, maybe in the work environment we have to maintain interpersonal relationship with our peers, with our superiors, with our colleagues, okay, with our subordinate as well. So this aligned with Maslow's social need and the external component of Maslow's esteem need. Okay, so this social need is what? Social need, as explained by Maslow, is the desire for love and affection, desire for a family life, desire for recognition in the society, Okay, so this is under social need. And the external component of Maslow's esteem need, this consisting of what? Respect from others, recognition from others, appreciation from the organization with whom we are working with, maintaining prestige in the society, praise from our respected seniors. Okay, so these are the external component of Maslow's esteem need. So joining these two together, the social part and the external component of Maslow's esteem need together, Clayton Alderfer has given the name of the second group as relatedness. Now finally, Alderfer isolated the growth need. Okay, now the third category of need is growth need. Okay, this growth need consisting of an intrinsic desire for personal growth. Okay, so this is the intrinsic desire for personal growth, and this includes the intrinsic component of Maslow's esteem need and the self-actualization need. That means full self-actualization need part. So this intrinsic component of Maslow's esteem need is what? That is the need for self-esteem, need for self-respect, self-confidence, self-direction, knowledge, achievement, high evaluation of himself. Okay, so these are the intrinsic component of esteem need. And self-actualization need, you all know, the desire for self-development and growth, innovating something new, and this will not end unless and until a person dies. So keeping these two together, okay, the third group has been given the name as growth need. Okay, so now I am depicting it with the help of one diagrammatic representation. See this one. If you see here, the basic need is the physiological need. So physiological need and safety need together, okay, joined up by Clayton Alderfer and given the name as existence need. Okay, next comes what? This part, this means the social need. Okay, and the external component of esteem need. Okay, so this external component of esteem need and the social need joining together, given the name of relatedness. And the intrinsic part of esteem need, okay, that means self-actualization, self-confidence. Okay, this intrinsic part and the self-actualization need. Okay, so these two joining together, given the name as growth need. Okay, so these are the explanation as given by Clayton Alderfer. Okay, and compressed the 5 models of hierarchy of needs theory and compressed it into 3 level and given the name of ERNG: existence, relatedness and growth. Now, ERG theory demonstrates that more than one need may be operative at same time. Okay, and if the satisfaction from higher level need is hindered, the desire to satisfy the lower level need increases. Say we are trying a lot. Okay, we are trying a lot to get recognition in the society or get a proper designation in a company, but we are not getting the same. So what we will do? It will definitely create frustration in the mind of people. So what Alderfer is saying, that don't be frustrated. Satisfy yourself with the lower level need. That means the desire for lower level need will increase in human mind. Okay, when we are trying to get higher level need, but we are not getting the same, it will create frustration. So not be frustrated. Switch yourself to the lower level need and satisfy yourself whatever you have. That means the desire for lower level need will increase in human mind. Okay, this ERG theory also, this contains one dimension. This dimension is called as frustration regression dimension. Maslow argued that an individual would stay at certain need level until that need was satisfied. Okay, ERG theory counters by noting that when a higher order need level is frustrated, means we are not getting the same, we are trying a lot to get success in examination, but we cannot get it. Okay, then it will automatically create frustration in mind. That means this is not the right way. We have to diversify ourselves and find out some other way to succeed. Okay, this is called as frustration regression dimension. Regression means we have to separate ourselves from that particular line and regret ourselves to some other way out. We have to search some other way out to succeed. Okay, that means desire of satisfaction from lower level need will increase in human mind. See, the same thing is written. ERG theory counters by noting that when a higher order need level is frustrated, the individual desire to increase a lower level need takes place. Okay, so this is called as this frustration regression dimension. See, this means this existence or the physical and material need. Okay, so if we are satisfied, we will progress to the next part. Okay, that means satisfaction and progression. If we are frustrated, we will back to this existence part. Okay, frustrated and we are again regretted to this existence part. Okay, if we are succeed, then we will move further, means we will proceed, progress to relatedness. Relatedness is social interaction, okay, and relationship. So now if we are that means we are satisfaction is there and progression is there. If there is no satisfaction, then again we are regretting back to this relatedness part. Okay, and this one is what? This growth, that means self-esteem, self-actualization. So this growth, if we are getting growth, it is good. If we are not getting it, we should regret ourselves and satisfy ourselves with whatever we have, means with relatedness, with existence. That means this is called as frustration regression dimension. When we are not getting any higher level need, we have to satisfy ourselves with the lower level need, means desire for lower level need will increase in human mind. Okay, so this is the frustration regression dimension as explained by Clayton Alderfer. Okay, so this is the theory. Next theory we will proceed. See, here another very important example of this ERG theory has been given. See here, if you think of a country like Japan, okay, for them social need come first. Okay, why? Because they want to stay together. You know, in Japan, earthquake happens on and off. Okay, so for them social need come at first. Okay, because they do not have any safety of life, so they always need to stay together so that if any natural calamity will come in, they can fight together. Okay, so for them this sequence of need is not following. Okay, so this particular example has been given by ERG, that means the Clayton Alderfer. Okay, so this is all about the ERG theory of motivation. We will now shift to the next theory. Okay, this is Friedrich Herzberg theory of motivation and hygiene. Okay, this theory was propounded by Friedrich Herzberg. Friedrich Herzberg and his associate make an interview of 200 engineers and accountants. This is a very important theory and bit critical too, so you have to understand it perfectly. So then what this Friedrich Herzberg did, Friedrich Herzberg and his associate, they have arranged an interview of 200 engineers and accountants of Pittsburgh area of United States. Okay, this is his own area of research, Pittsburgh area of United States. This person were asked why these interviews are being taken. They are asked to tell about the views regarding the work element which made them happy and unhappy in their workplace. Okay, that means the interviewee asks the interviewer about the elements which make them happy in the workplace and the elements which make them unhappy in the workplace. Okay, so this particular question has been asked by the associates and by Friedrich Herzberg to all 200 engineers and accountants. Okay, the result of the study reveals that the feeling of unhappiness depends on the environment in which they are working, and feeling of happiness or satisfaction was related to their job. So they have discovered a very important point. they said they revealed that feeling of unhappiness is related with the working environment. Okay, the environment in which they are working. This is related to the feeling of unhappiness, and feeling of happiness is related with the job itself. Okay, he published his research work in the book the Motivation to Work in the year 1959. Hirschberg found that the factor causing job satisfaction were different from the factors causing job dissatisfaction. He developed the motivation and hygiene theory to explain the result. Okay, so as just now I said that the factor causing job satisfaction are different from the factor causing job dissatisfaction. Okay, according to Hirschberg, the hygiene factor have a very little contribution. Now what he did, he had divided the factors into two parts. See, this like this. This is called as the motivating factor or satisfiers, and this is called as hygiene factor or dissatisfies. Okay, both are from job. This is from job content and this is from job context. Okay, now see, this is called as motivating factor or satisfiers, and this is called as hygiene factor or dissatisfies. Now there is the explanation. What is hygiene factor? See, according to Hirschberg, hygiene factor have a very little contribution to provide job satisfaction. Okay, he called it as dissatisfies because their absence result in dissatisfaction, but their presence cannot give motivation to the employee to take more interest to the job. For example, I am giving you one example, very simple example. Suppose you are working in a company, and in that company there is no rules and regulation, there is no policy and administration. Whether you will feel happy? You always need to work with a company which is having rules and regulation, which is having proper frame of policy and administration. So definitely this rules and regulation, policy and administration are such a kind of factor which are very, very important to create satisfaction in the mind of people. But these factors are not going to motivate the employee in any way. Okay, so if these factors are not there, it will definitely create dissatisfaction in the mind of employee. But if these factors are present in the organization, these are not going to motivate the employee in any way. That's why these factors are being named as dissatisfiers or hygiene factors. Okay, so see, what are these hygiene factors? Company's policy and administration, technical supervision, relationship with superior, work condition, interpersonal relationship with peer, relationship with subordinate, status, working condition, job security, and family life. Okay, so these things are called as hygiene factor whose presence is important, but this presence is not going to motivate the employee in any way. Okay, but if these factors are not present, then it will create dissatisfaction in the mind of employee. Next comes what? Next comes the motivating factors. On the other hand, motivating factors motivate subordinate to take more interest in their work. These factors increases efficiency and productivity of the employee. Hence, motivating factors are very much essential in order to give job satisfaction and in order to maintain a higher level of efficiency for performing the job. So these motivating factors are the direct motivators. Okay, so presence of this factor must be there to boost up the efficiency and the productivity of the employee. Okay, what are those factors? Direct motivators: achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, along with responsibility and authority as well, advancement, growth, creative and challenging work. These are called as the direct motivators. Okay, if you have been given authority and responsibility to do a particular job, obviously this will create motivation in the mind of people, in the mind of employee. Then recognition and growth, definitely advancement and growth, the chances of advancement and growth definitely create motivation in the mind of employee. So these factors are considered to be the direct motivator. So presence of this factor is compulsory to motivate the employee directly. So that's why it's called as motivating factor or dissatisfiers. Okay, so this is according to Hirschberg, hygiene factor when provided reduce dissatisfaction, but it cannot provide motivation to the employee. Just now I said for better performance. Okay, the motivating factors provided to the employee will create an environment where employee will get high motivation and their efficiency and performance level should be increased. Okay, so this is called as what? A very important theory given by Friedrich Hirschberg, called as Friedrich Hirschberg motivation and hygiene theory. Next theory is Douglas McGregor theory of motivation. This theory was propounded by famous psychologist Douglas McGregor. He had done research on nature and perception of human being and had contributed a lot in the field of motivation. Now he had given his theory in the name of theory X and theory Y. As he had done research on the nature of human being, he had put people under theory X category and theory Y category who are having opposite in characteristics. Okay, under theory X category, now let us learn that this theory is based on traditional assumption and is known as conventional approach. Now under this category, theory X, average human being has an inherent dislike to work. Okay, under theory X category, people have inherent dislike towards work. Average person lacks ambition, means unambitious, dislikes responsibility, don't want to take any responsibility, wants security of job without doing anything sincerely. They want security of job, but they are not doing their job sincerely. Okay, always wants to be led or directed by others. Okay, they want to be guided by others, they want to be directed by others always. Average human being is self-centered and does not bothered about organizational need and objective. Okay, they are not at all bothered to fulfill organizational target or organizational objective. Average person lacks creativity in solving organizational problem. Okay, then the average human being by nature wants to resist change of any type, but that means they do not allow any kind of change in the organization. Okay, so these are the characteristics of people who are coming under theory X category. That means they are negative minded people. Okay, now come to theory Y. They are completely opposite. Okay, theory Y is based on modern or professional approach, and under this all positive behavior of human being which are discussed below, means all positive minded people are coming under this category theory Y. For them, for theory Y category of people, work is as natural as play or rest, subject to the condition that working environment is favorable. They need a good working and favorable working environment. Not only this, employees are motivated to do their work with full satisfaction and independence. That means they must be given proper independence to do their job, and then only they will derive satisfaction out of that. Next, people generally want to accept and often seek responsibility. Not only they are eager to accept responsibility, they often ask for it. They often they're eager to take responsibilities and are self-directed and creative. This creativity and innovative potential of the employee can be utilized to solve organizational problem. Okay, so this creativity of theory Y category of people are being utilized by the organization to solve basic problem of the organization. they are ambitious and think for others as well. Okay, they help other as well. Theory Y is applicable for such people who those who are self-motivated and are allowed to participate in decision making process of the organization as well. Okay, they are self-motivated. They don't want to be guided by others. They don't want to be directed by others. They are self-motivated people. Theory Y assumes that people are not by nature lazy or idle. Okay, so they think that people are not by nature lazy or idle. They can be self-directed and creative at work if properly motivated. Okay, so this is the viewpoint of theory Y category of people who are positive minded people. Okay, now the motivational force. So in order to motivate this theory X category and theory Y category of people, what are the motivational force a company should take up? Okay, now this kind of people you can find in your surrounding as well. When you work in any organization, you will find this theory X and theory Y category of people in your organization as well. And now also you are finding this category of people in your friend circle. Okay, now come to the motivational force. Okay, now as theory X category of people are negative minded people, in order to motivate them, what are the things organization should take up? First is external control like threat of punishment, reward, okay, sometimes good verdict, good words. Okay, close supervision is required for accomplishment of organizational objective. In order to get the things done by theory X category of people, threat of punishment either, or good words, or rewards, announcement of rewards, and close supervision must be there. Okay, so that they can do their work and organizational objective can be accomplished. Okay, next theory Y, as they are self-directed, self-controlled. So they are self-directed and self-controlled for accomplishment of organizational objective. Okay, so they are doing of their own. They don't need any external force. Okay, now come to the second point. Authority is centralized. And here authority is decentralized. Okay, so that means here authority is centralized means they need close supervision. That's why authority is centralized. And here close supervision is not required. That's why authority is decentralized. Okay, next one is limited span of control. Limited span of control means what a supervisor can supervise only a limited number of subordinate. Okay, if such theory X category of people are there under me, then I cannot supervise many number of people at a time. Okay, that means a supervisor can supervise only a limited number of subordinate. Okay, but in case of theory X category of people, wide span of control, because one supervisor can supervise many number of people. Okay, so many number of subordinate at a time. Okay, next, in case of theory X category, only one way of communication is made from top level to lower level of management, because lower level of management, they do not have anything to say to top level. Okay, they are doing their work. Okay, they are very lazy and they are doing the work. Okay, they do not have anything to communicate to the top level management people. Okay, so only one way of communication is happening here in case of theory X, but here two-way communication is made, because here top level management are communicating with lower level, and lower level at the same time they are giving suggestion, they are giving their opinion. Okay, if they are facing any problem, they are circulating the same thing too. That means both way communication is going on in case of theory Y category of people. Next is lack of self motivation. Yes, they have lack of self motivation. Okay, no, this one, there is lack of creativity and resistance to change in organization. Okay, they are lack of creativity they have, and they do not want to they implement any kind of change in the organization process. And in case of theory Y category of people, employee are always creative. That means they are creating and doing new things, and welcome all the new ideas and changes. Okay, they always encourage new ideas and changes. Okay, and they are creative also. Okay, point number 6, lack of motivation. They have lack of motivation. Okay, they are not self-motivated. But theory Y category of people, employees are self-motivated. Come to the 7 point, lower level needs, that means physiological need and safety needs, okay, are the sources of motivation to the employee. Okay, that means they are satisfied with the lower level need only. Okay, they don't have the motivation to go upward. Okay, they don't want to grow. Okay, so only this physiological need and safety need is good enough for this category of people. But for them, for theory Y category of people, both lower level and higher level needs such as social need, esteem need and self-actualization need are the source of motivation to the employee. Okay, so this is the force, motivational force for theory X and theory Y category of people. Okay, so this is all for today. Thank you.